Today, we will diving into an incredible framework called musculoskeletal system. It consists of muscles, bone, and a few connective tissues such as ligament, tendons, cartilage, and also joint. In this first part, we will focus on skeletal system first. There are three functions of skeletal system. The first one, it acts as a framework of our body. The second one, it provides support and protection to our delicate internal organ. The third one, it gives wide variety of movement. Let us take a closer look on the anatomy of the bone. There are 5 layers to take note. The first one is periosteum. Periosteum is the outermost tissue layer that covering the bone. The second one is compact bone. Compact bone is a protectiveness layer that gives strength to the bone. The third one is spongy bone. Located inside, this part is more porous and also fragile. Towards the end of it, it is where the red bone marrow is housed. The fourth one is medullary cavity. It is hollow center in the bone. It is also responsible to store the red and yellow bone marrow. Finally, the fifth one is endosteum. This is the thin tissue that lining the medullary cavity. Now that we have learned about the anatomy of the bone, let us learn a few terminology that you might encounter in the system. The first one is osteo, the second one is myelo, the third one is chondro, and the fourth one is artrio.
Hello everyone, today I will cover the essential part of the skeletal system including cartilage, bone landmark, exoskeleton, and the appendicular skeleton. Let's begin by looking at cartilage. Cartilage is a strong, flexible, connective tissue that protects the joint and bones. The primary function of cartilage is to reduce friction between bones and absorb shock during movement. Cartilage also allows smooth joint movement and helps to protect the bones. There are two types of cartilage, which are articular cartilage and meniscus cartilage. Articular cartilage covers the ends of the bones in the knee joints, and meniscus cartilage form a cushion between the bones. Now, let's move to the anatomic landmarks of bone. I will cover two parts, which are diaphysis and epiphysis. Diaphysis is a shaft of long bones that contains the primary ossification center and located in the mid portion of the bone. Epiphysis is a widened end part of the long bone that is filled with spongy bones. The proximal epiphysis is nearest to the midline, and distal epiphysis is farthest away from the midline. Now, what are the differences between exoskeleton and appendicular skeleton? Did you know that our body consists of 206 bones, 80 bones of exoskeleton and 126 bones of appendicular skeleton? The exoskeleton consists of the skull, vertebral column, and the thoracic cage. Meanwhile, the appendicular skeleton consists of the shoulder girdle, the arms and forearms, the hands, the pelvic girdle, the thighs and legs, and the feet. The exoskeleton supports the upright position and protects the internal organ, and the appendicular skeleton aid in the movement of the body. Before I finish my part, let's look at medical terminology. The first one is cartilage or chondro. The next one is cranium, which means a skull. And the last one is rib cage, or we call it as a costa. That's all from me. Thank you.
Ever wonder how your body bends, twists and moves without snapping in half? It's all thanks to your articular system. Basically, your joints. A joint is simply the connection point where two bones meet to permit movability. These are three main types based on how they move. 1. Fibrous joints. These are completely immovable, like the sutures holding your skull together. 2. Cartilaginous joints, connected by cartilage, allowing only slight movement, like your ribs. And 3. Synovial joints, the absolute every piece of movement. These allow free motion, just like your knee. Before we look at how it functions, let's break down the blueprint. The core anatomy of a synovial joint. Think of it like a package machine. First, the synovial capsule, a sleeve-like extension that completely encloses the joint. Inside is the synovial membrane, which forms the synovial cavity, so the space holding our fluid. Finally, we have accessory-like structures like ligament and brucette for stability. Now, how do these parts work together without wearing out? If bare bones ground against each other, they had destroyed themselves. So, the synovial capsule seals the joint. Inside the synovial membrane, release synovial fluid acting as a premium lubricant, so bone glide effortlessly. For impact, brucette, tiny fluid-filled sacs, act as a hydraulic shock absorbers. And to keep it stable, ligaments act like heavy-duty ropes, tying bone to bone. To ask our medical terms, remember these combining forms. Arthro means joint, synovial means synovial fluid, ligamental means ligament, and bursa means bursa. Mastery of these roots makes anatomy a breeze. So, the articular system gives us flexibility, but joints need power to move. To explain the engines behind this, I'm passing the mic over to Sophia for the muscular system. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is SOFIA. Welcome to our exploration of the muscular system. While we often think of muscles only in terms of strength and athletics, they are actually the engine behind nearly every biological process in the human body, from the blink of an eye to the beat of a heart. The muscular system serves 5 vital functions. First, it is responsible for holding the body erect and making movement possible. Second, muscles serve as the body's furnace, generating essential body heat. Inside the body, muscles perform 3 more critical tasks. They move food through the digestive system, assist with blood flow by helping return blood to the heart, and move other fluids through ducts and tubes throughout various body systems. To accomplish this task, the system relies on specialized structures. First is muscle fibers that are the long, slender cells that constitute the muscle itself. These fibers are wrapped in fascia, which is a flexible band of connective tissue that envelops and binds muscle together. Finally, we have tendons, which are dense fibrous bands that attach muscle firmly to bones. There are 3 distinct types of muscle tissue. Skeletal muscles are voluntary and striated. They attach to bones to drive our physical motions. Smooth muscle, also known as visceral muscles, are involuntary and found in the walls of internal organs like the digestive tract. Lastly, myocardial muscle or cardiac muscle is found only in the heart, providing the constant involuntary contractions that create our heartbeat. When learning medical terminology for this system, remember these key roots. Myo and muscular refer to the muscle itself. Fascio denotes the fascia, and tendon refers to a tendon. As we conclude, please refer to the visual aids showing the 3 tissue types and this specific tendon attachment diagram, which illustrates the critical bridge between our muscular and skeletal system.
Now, I will be presenting the final part of our topic, which covers muscle movement, antagonistic muscle, and a brief conclusion. First, let's look at some opposite muscle movement that occur in our body. These movements are essential because they allow us to perform any daily activity, such as walking, lifting objects, and reaching for things. The first pair is flexion and extension. Flexion refers to bending a joint, for example, when we bend our elbow. In contrast, extension means straightening the joint, such as when we straighten our arm again. Another important pair is abduction and adduction. Abduction is the movement of a body part away from the body midline, while adduction is the movement back toward the body midline. These opposite movements work together to help your body move smoothly and maintain proper body function. Now, let's move on to the antagonistic muscle pair. Unlike bone and joints, muscle cannot push, they can only pull when they contract. Because of this, our muscle always work in pair. When one muscle contracts, the opposite muscle relaxes to produce movement. For example, when we bend our arm, the bicep contracts while the tricep relaxes. Then, when we straighten the arm, the tricep contracts and the bicep relaxes. This coordination between muscle pair allows our movement to be smooth, controlled, and efficient. Finally, to conclude our presentation, the musculoskeletal system is made of bones, joints, and muscle, and each of these structures play an important role. Bones provide support of the body and protect our internal organs. Joints connect bones and allow movement, while muscle generate the force needed for movement through contraction and relaxation. Together, these 3 components enable us to move, maintain our posture, and carry out everyday activities. Before I end my presentation, here are some important medical terms that we have learned today. Flexion means bending a joint, while extension means straightening it. Abduction refers to moving a body part away from the body midlines, whereas adduction means moving it back towards the body midline. Finally, contraction is when a muscle becomes shorter and generates force, while relaxation is where the muscle returns to its normal resting state. With that, I have come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.